Okay. So, I didn't figure out a solution to the last hard problem yesterday, so time to do a new streak until I can figure out the actual solution or a working solution to yesterday's problem. In any case, today seems to be an easy one. Maximum difference between adjacent elements in a circular array. Given a circular array nums, find the maximum absolute difference between adjacent elements. Okay, let's start by saying that the answer is the maximum absolute difference. Let's say the answer is initially 0, and then for every index in the range of the length of nums. For Python, it's actually quite simple, right? Because Python, if you use -1 as index, it actually is going to the last element. So it's just going to be answer equals max of answer and the absolute value of nums at this index versus nums at the index minus it, subtracted by the nums at the index minus, and the return answer. Alrighty. Streak at 1. So just to be clear, unlike other maybe languages, if you have indexing at 0, it's the first element. Well, indexing at 0 is generally the first element of an array, but indexing at a negative number in Python is indexing the last value in the array. So since it's circular, the last value is going to be adjacent to the first value. And if you have index 0, then you're doing nums at 0 minus nums at -1, where nums at -1 is the last index, the last value in the nums array. And since you're just doing that for every value, every kind of starting value, like index goes through every value, every index in the array, and then that means that you're doing every subtraction. Okay, so summary, pretty simple in Python. Just use a for loop to go through each index and subtract value, or find the absolute difference, absolute value of the difference between nums at index and nums at index -1, since Python treats array at -1 as the last element in the array, and use index equal to 0 to index equals n-1, and compare or take the difference of array at I minus array at I minus 1 without worry about out of bounds. Obviously, if you had this in Python, like Java or C++ or some other languages, you might have to do a special comparison between array at 0 and array at like length -1. And then also always do update, check absolute value compared to stored max, and change stored max to higher value if needed. Time complexity, this may O of n, to go through each element in the array. or each, go through each element and take the absolute value difference between it and previous being adjacent on the circular array. Space complexity, this is going to be O1, since no extra data structure is needed besides variables.